So this afternoon, I was really excited to see this email come into my inbox where it's a welcome to Galaxy Developer Edition, which is Meteor's own hosting platform. And when first released, people were thinking it was a little too expensive for your average developer. However, with the Developer Edition, it's way more affordable. And at this point, it's invite only. So I was really excited to see that I got an invite. So I'm going to click this accept this invitation, and what I'm going to do is kind of what you would do with an unbox. I'm looking at this for the first time, so this is going to be my initial impressions and give you just a quick look at what's going on with the Galaxy Developer Edition. Now, if you'll see, it's priced at 0.35 cents per gigabyte an hour, billed monthly. What's nice about that is it's sort of a pay-as-you-go. You can push button up scaling so that you can add more containers to your account, zero downtime code pushes. It includes SSL support, which is really nice. No more messing with an SSL certificate on your own server, and some basic performance metrics that I'm not going to want to share in this video. So what I'm going to do is fill this form out and then come back after I've filled these items out. So thank you for signing up. It says I'll soon be able to effortlessly deploy and scale your Meteor apps. You'll receive an email shortly from our team that contains login and onboarding instructions. So once again, I'm going to take a break until I get this email. After I get this email, we'll pick up from there. So in my welcome email, I was given 4 links, one of which is status, where you can check Meteor's status. So you can see sort of, maybe issues, if there's outages or anything sort of like that. You can make sure that everything's running as smoothly as possible. Now, here's a link to compose.io, which is a really nice database hosting website. This is actually where I already host my databases. But what's nice is if you're subscribing to this Meteor Developers Edition account, you get a 60-day trial period where you won't be charged anything. And it's actually really, really easy to database on Compose. And to me personally, I've set up my databases on Compose just so I don't have to worry about security as much, right? I don't want to have to worry about hosting those databases on my own server where they could potentially be accessed, where somebody like compose.io is taking care of all that stuff for you, and then you can just set an environment variable in your application and have it look at this database. So I would highly recommend using Compose if you're hosting your databases somewhere. It's just easy setup. Now this one's for configuring your DNS, which requires you to log in, which is fine because I need to log in just to check this out anyways. Now keep in mind, this is my first time logging in, so we're going to see how this works. Now already, interface is nice. That's one thing that always sort of stands out, is a nice interface. We have the menu over here where you can get help and support. I believe this will probably just take me to the current page I'm on. And then we have the status report, which is probably just going to open up this page. So you'll notice that we have get started, settings. Under settings, it tells you that your plan as the developer, you're currently using 0 of 5 containers, and you can contact them to update or purchase additional containers. Now, I'm sure a lot of this stuff is going to be evolving. This is, like I said, a first look, and as far as I know, I don't believe a ton of people have access to this just yet. So what we can do is check out what it takes to deploy an app. So if we click deploy your app, it's going to give you some nice tips here, so we can check this out a little bit here. I'm just going to open these in a new tab. I like to do that, have the stuff open. So you'll notice that it basically tells you to set up your environment variables so that we could have something like our Mongo URL and stuff like that, along with our root URL. And it says to do it like this: use galaxy.meteor.com, because that's where Galaxy is going to be looking for these values. So if you want specific values for your database, for maybe your Compose address and stuff like that, you would have it in your settings file as galaxy.meteor.com, env, and then we would have our root URL, our Mongo URL, that sort of stuff. Now, this isn't going to be an in-depth how to get your site going on Galaxy or anything like that, so I'm not going to go too much in depth here, but what I am going to do is try to throw up a site on to Galaxy and just check it out. And then in addition over here, we have some configuring your MongoDB, and since this platform is built on Meteor, you'll notice I didn't have to re-log in over here, which is nice. But what we have here is basically telling you where to point your DNS settings. So I'm going to go and try to push a site to Galaxy, and then after that's up, I'll head back here and check out what my dashboard looks like then. So I just deployed an app. I deployed it 4 minutes ago, and as you can see, we have bboytools.com. Now this is one of the first Meteor apps I even made, so there are probably a lot of optimizations to be made here. So it's not exactly something I'm working on, so keep that in mind when watching this. However, what you can see here is after deploying, which the process was really easy, one command, basically the same type of process you use for deploying to Meteor's free servers. However, you use some environment variables and stuff like that. I just followed the documentation and it worked correctly. So if we select this, you can now see some activity about overall for bboytools.com. Let's actually head to the site here. So luckily my DNS propagated really quick and the site's up and running. This is a site I made to help me remember my dance moves for when I'm practicing and stuff like that. Also gives me some tools for when I'm practicing, like a clock that sounds an air horn every 30 seconds. So as you can see, everything's running really smoothly. And if we head over to Galaxy, you can see that it's using up 31% of the memory. Got 2 people on it. Let's check this out. You can see you have nice access to your CPU, your memory, how many clients are on the site. And this is for the past 5 minutes. Now, you could probably check out the hour, 1 day, but it says that you need to update your plan to get those additional metrics. Either way, this view gives you a nice snapshot of where your app is right now. We can head over to containers. You can see that I'm using 1 container and 1 is running, 0 available. If I wanted to use 2 containers, I could hit this up, and I'm now using 2 containers. So you'll notice it's scaling these containers up, and it's sort of setting itself up, so I'm just going to let it do that. You'll see you have some indicators here. We have an updating. You can head to see your logs, which is really nice. We can see all or just errors if we'd like. I don't have any errors right now, which is great. And I would click settings, however, it contains your settings.json file, which actually contains my database information. So I don't really want to make that public. It allows you to turn on an SSL or just start or stop your application. So you can see I now have, looks like the second container is up and going. But as you can see, the developer edition of Galaxy, I mean, the tools and interface here is really nice. If you were hosting this on your own server like I am for a lot of my apps, you don't necessarily get a lot of this performance information or anything like that. And it's nice to have all your logs and everything here. I mean, this just feels like more of a legit hosting platform than trying to roll everything yourself. Maybe. And this is just an easier hosting platform than necessarily trying to set everything up yourself. I've set up a couple of DigitalOcean servers myself, and while I love DigitalOcean and use it for just about everything, this was way easier for setting up a Meteor application. And as you can see here, this site is really cruising. So let me know what you thought of Galaxy Developer Edition. I'm excited to play around more with it. I'm going to throw a couple of other sites up on here, and I might even do some optimization to bboytools.com because I'm sure there's a lot of work there. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video or hit me up at Twitter or Facebook at Level Up Tutorials. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.